In this video, you will learn the basic functions of prepositions. A preposition shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun and another word in the sentence. In the following examples, the preposition shows the relationship between the verb walked and the noun store. I walked past the store. I walked through the store. I walked towards the store. I walked near the store. I walked around the store. And I walked beyond the store. Each of these words introduces a prep phrase. It really shows how, if I have, I walked in store, what's the relationship between walking in the store? Going past, going through, going towards. That's what a preposition does. These are the most commonly used prepositions. That does not mean these are the only prepositions, but these are the ones that you should definitely be familiar with. Write them down. About, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, as, at, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, but when it means except, by, despite, down, during, except, for, from, in, inside, into, like, near, of, off, on, onto, out, outside, over, past, since, through, throughout, to, toward, under, underneath, until, up, upon, with, within. Sometimes there'll be groups of words that come together to make a compound preposition. So a preposition that consists of more than one word is called a compound preposition. Again, here are some of the most commonly used ones. It doesn't mean it's the only ones, but definitely be familiar with these. According to, aside from, because of, by means of, in addition to, in front of, in place of, in spite of, instead of, on account of, out of, prior to. One thing you'll notice is that each of these compound prepositions ends with a single word preposition, to, from, and of. What often I see students do is only see that last word. Being familiar with these as compound prepositions can help you know to look for more than just that ending preposition, but looking for the entire word group. An example of this in a sentence: according to my teacher, it is helpful to memorize prepositions. In this sentence, according to is the preposition, introducing the prep phrase, according to my teacher. Prepositions are important because they introduce prepositional phrases. You're not going to see a preposition without a phrase. A prepositional phrase consists of the preposition, its object, and any modifiers of the object. The preposition will always start the prep phrase, and it will always end with the object. Note that there can be more than one object of a single preposition. Write that down. There can be more than one object of a single preposition. The object of a preposition is the noun or pronoun that follows the preposition, that ends the prep phrase. Prepositional phrases are used as modifiers. They essentially function as adjectives and adverbs in a sentence. They express characteristics such as location, direction, duration, and time. Here are some examples. Inside a tall tree, the squirrel stored its acorns. The prep phrase inside a tall tree starts with the preposition inside, ends with the object of the preposition tree. A, tall are both adjectives of tree. They're modifiers of tree, so they are part of that prep phrase. This entire prep phrase tells us where the squirrel stored its acorn. So that's what I mean by prepositional phrases function as adjectives and adverbs. This whole phrase is really functioning as an adverb phrase telling us where the squirrel stored its acorns. Another example, lightning struck the tree during an afternoon storm. Here the prep phrase is during an afternoon storm. The prep phrase begins with the preposition during and ends with the object of the preposition storm. This entire phrase again functions as an adverb telling us when lightning struck the tree. Some words may be used as either prepositions or adverbs. So knowing the words in that chart doesn't mean that every time you see all of those words, it's functioning as a preposition. Many of them could also be adverbs. But here's the main difference. An adverb is a modifier, a single word modifier, and does not have an object. But a preposition, at least when it's being used correctly, is always going to have an object. So to differentiate between the two, you just really need to look for what comes after the preposition or after the word. If a noun or pronoun comes after it and it's part of a prep phrase, then you're looking at a preposition. If there's no object, then you probably have an adverb. So here's some examples. As a preposition, Marge climbed down the ladder. In this sentence, down begins the prep phrase down the ladder. Ladder is the object of the preposition. This whole phrase tells us where she climbed. In the adverb sentence, down still tells us where she climbed. Marge climbed down carefully. It answers the adverb question where. The only difference here is that there's no object after down. Okay? Down the ladder tells us a little bit more, but the essential difference again is the grammatical structure. The preposition has an object, the adverb does not. Another noteworthy distinction is the distinction between infinitives and prepositions. As a preposition, the word to, T-O, precedes a noun or pronoun to form a prep phrase. Do not confuse prep phrases with infinitives, which is an unconjugated verb form preceded by to. So here are some examples of prep phrases. To the library, so it's introducing a word group that ends with a noun. To her ends with a pronoun. To the store ends with a noun. The infinitive is when the to comes before a verb. To create, to play, to compare. These are unconjugated verb forms. So again, you really need to look at what comes after the to. If it's a noun or pronoun, you most likely have a prep phrase. If it's something that could become a verb, then you probably have an infinitive. And in order to help you remember the prepositions, here is a little song that I highly recommend you learn and love, because prepositions, while they seem complicated, are really just a matter of identification. You need to be able to recognize prepositions when you see them, and this song will begin to help you do that. Note that the prepositions in this song are not the only prepositions. They're not even all of the words in that chart of commonly used prepositions, but these are some of the most commonly used ones, and memorizing this song is a good start. About, above, among, and after, along, around, across, and at, behind, before, between, beyond, during, by, down, except for, from, in, into, on, of, and over, pass through, until, toward, and under, up, upon, within, without, near, against, beside, a pronoun. This is the preposition song. About, above, among, and after, along, around, across, and at, behind, before, between, beyond, during, by, down, except for, from, in, into, on, of, and over, pass through, until, toward, and under, up, upon, within, without, near, against, beside, a pronoun. This is the preposition song. Last time. About, above, among, and after, along, around, across, and at, behind, before, between, beyond, during, by, down, except for, from, in, into, on, of, and over, down, tilt toward and under. Up, upon, within, without, near, against, beside a pronoun. This is our preposition song. You're welcome.